Wings have been proudly serving the people of this community since 1918. Service is our motto. The poor, the rich, the middle class and all are given the best of care and attention at all times. You have the privilege to select what you want. In your time of need, contact the capable, the competent, and the dependable staff of the J.W. Williams Funeral Home who is genuinely concerned with your care. At J.W. Williams Funeral Home, you are aptly served by the proprietor president, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, who continues the traditions and values set forth by the past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams. Your announcements for the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Sunday morning program are Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, Minister Frankie Harmon, Ms. Sandra Johnson, and Deacon Earl Clark, Jr.
Thank you, and good morning, friends. We come to you this morning to bring announcements, dedications, and songs. We certainly hope that your day may be brighter after listening to our program. The family of Deacon Willie James Colson of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mrs. Johnny Mae Oliver Williams of Byronville, Georgia. The family of Mr. Henry Reed of Tifton, Georgia. Would like to thank their many friends for the food, the flowers, the condolences, and all other expressions of sympathy and kindness shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. Deacon Willie James Colson, age 70, of 1513 Old Coney Circle, Cordele, Georgia, died Sunday, March 28th at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Deacon Willie James Colson, age 70, was held Monday, April 5th, graveside at the Bethel Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. His pastor, the Reverend Nelson Maynor, pastor of the St. James Baptist Church, officiated. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Ruby Lee Biggins Colson of Cordele, Georgia. His loving and devoted children, Mrs. Demetrius Bearden and her husband, Mr. Travis Bearden, Mr. Cedric Colson and his wife, Mrs. Selena Colson, Mrs. Lucretia Colson, Mrs. Kanisha Wood and her husband, Mr. Frederick Wood, all of Cordele, Georgia. 7 beloved grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, 2 beloved sisters, Mrs. Brenda Frederick and her husband, Deacon Gregory Frederick of Cordele, Georgia, and Miss Emma Jean Colson of Albany, Georgia. His beloved and devoted brothers, Deacon Willie Colson, Jr., and his wife, Mother Vanessa Colson of Cordele, Georgia, Deacon Dan Colson and his wife, Mrs. Charlie Mae Colson of Americus, Georgia, his beloved in-law, Mrs. Carrie Holmes and her husband, Minister John Holmes, Miss Willie Mae Biggins, Mr. Alton Biggins and his wife, Mrs. Paula Biggins, and Mr. C.J. Brown, all of Cordele, Georgia. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends to include the Maynor family and the Barrett family survived Deacon Willie James Colson, age 70, 1513 Old Coney Circle, Cordele, Georgia. Mrs. Johnny May Oliver Williams, age 78, of 100 Mandolin Drive, Warner Robins, Georgia, died Sunday, March 28 at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Johnny May Oliver Williams, age 78, was held Tuesday, April 6, graveside at the Little Poplar Springs Baptist Church Cemetery in Byronville, Georgia. Her pastor, the Reverend Freddie Golphin, pastor of the Little Creek Baptist Church, officiated. Survivors include her loving and devoted children, Lieutenant Colonel Willie Mike Childs of Dallas, Texas, Mr. Calvin James Childs of Orlando, Florida, and Miss Georgia Ann Childs Ford of Lineville, Alabama. Her beloved and devoted sisters, Miss Luella May Oliver and Mrs. Ernestine Thomas, both of Vienna, Georgia, Mrs. Amanda Davis of Pinehurst, Georgia, and Miss Eva Little of Oglethorpe, Georgia. Her beloved brothers, Mr. Willie Childs of Enterprise, Alabama, and Elder Eddie Grant Oliver of Columbus, Georgia. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mrs. Johnny May Oliver Williams, age 78, of 100 Madeline Drive, Warner Robins, Georgia. Mr. Henry Reed, age 97, of 3306 Hale Avenue, Tifton, Georgia, died Friday, April 2nd at the Cordele Health and Rehabilitation Center in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Henry Reed, age 97, was held Friday, April 9th, graveside at the Greenwood Cemetery in Tifton, Georgia. The Reverend James Walker officiated. His beloved niece, Minister Sharon Grayton, delivered the eulogy. Survivors include his loving and devoted nieces and nephew, Mrs. Diane Reed Joseph, and Mr. Charles Grayton and his wife, Mrs. Alice Grayton, both of Griffin, Georgia, Mrs. Betty Harris of Tifton, Georgia, his great-niece and great-nephew, Mr. Cassidy T. Joseph of Tifton, Georgia, Mrs. Shimona Joseph of McDonald, Georgia, and a host of cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends, to include the residents and staff of the Cordele Health and Rehabilitation Center, survived Mr. Henry Reed, age 97, of 3306 Hale Avenue, Tifton, Georgia. Again, the family of Deacon Willie James Colson of Cordele, Georgia, the family of Mrs. Johnny May Oliver Williams of Byronville, Georgia, the family of Deacon Henry Reed of Tifton, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for all of the many kindnesses shown to them during the hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. May God bless each of you, is their prayer. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors serving Cordele and Vienna were in charge of each of these arrangements during the past week. And now, it is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcements. Mr. Rodney Anderson, age 53, of 1600 Poplar Springs Road, Byronville, Georgia, died Sunday, April 4th at Navison Health in Macon, Georgia. Survivors include his beloved and caring son, Mr. Royal Allen Sr. of Jacksonville, Florida, his beloved grandchildren, Kamara Royal Jr., Royalty, and Royal II, all of Jacksonville, Florida. Two loving and devoted sisters, Mrs. Marilyn Hutchison and her husband, Mr. David Hutchison of Vienna, Georgia, and Miss Kimberly Anderson of Warner Robins, Georgia. Three devoted brothers, Mr. Aaron Anderson and his wife, Miss Lois Anderson, Mr. Gregory Anderson and his wife, Mrs. Pauline Anderson, and Mr. Jerome Anderson and his wife, Mrs. Gail Anderson, all of Vienna, Georgia. Three devoted nieces, Mrs. Shamika Minister and her husband, Mr. Mike Arthur Minister of Warner Robins, Georgia, Ms. Shanona Anderson of Vienna, Georgia, and Mrs. Shanora Walker and her husband, Mr. Jeffrey Walker of Upper Marvin, Maryland. Four devoted nephews, Mr. Demetrius King and his wife, Mrs. Aquarius King, Mr. Ariel Anderson, and Mr. Ferrando Anderson, all of Cordele, Georgia. Mr. Dextron King of Lawrenceville, Georgia. One beloved aunt, Miss Debbie King of Cordele, Georgia. A beloved uncle, Mr. Jesse King Jr. and his wife, Mrs. Barbara King of Maryland. A devoted and dedicated friend, Miss Carolyn Turner. A host of cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends to include Mr. George Bryant, Mr. Steve Carter, Mr. Donald West, Mr. Billy Towns, Mr. Benny Barnum, Mr. Reginald Gary, survived Mr. Rodney Anderson, age 53, of 1600 Poplar Springs Road, Byronville, Georgia. The public walk-up viewing and visitation for Mr. Rodney Anderson, age 53, will be held today, Sunday, April 11, from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. Miss J. Lanique Tyandra Chapman, age 24, of 1109 Oberthorpe Avenue, Americus, Georgia, died Monday, April 5th, at her residence in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include her precious and adored daughter, Lil Kamara Lundy Chapman of Americus, Georgia. Her loving and devoted mother, Mrs. Camille Davis Bush of Americus, Georgia. Her beloved, caring father, Mr. Kalon Chapman. Her devoted sisters, Miss Camille Cody, Mrs. Aaliyah Bush, both of Americus, Georgia. Miss Kiara Robinson of Arlington, Texas. Miss Abigail Jenkins of Noonan, Georgia. Miss Kamon Chapman, Miss Marcy Chapman, Miss Elzer Chapman, all of Wrightsville, Georgia. Miss Demond Dudden of Lexington, South Carolina. Her devoted brothers, Mr. Kingston Chapman and Mr. Messiah Chapman, both of Wrightsville, Georgia. Her beloved grandparents, Mr. Charlie and Miss Gloria Baker of Albany, Georgia. Mrs. Tana Smith of Garland, Texas. Mr. Charlie Davis of Americus, Georgia. Her beloved great-grandmother, Miss Marietta Chapman of Kathleen, Georgia. Her beloved aunts and uncles, Mr. Timothy Range of Hamilton, Ohio. Dr. Makia Smith of Dallas, Texas. Mr. Marcus Smith of Garland, Texas. The Reverend Michael Chapman of Albany, Georgia. Her beloved godmother, Miss Kizzy Brown. Her godbrother, Mr. Kelvin Douglas. Her godsister, Miss Madison Smith. A host of cousins to include Miss Dominique Town, Miss DeAndrea Dixon, and a host of other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends to include her best friend, Miss Tayson McClary, Miss Aletha Dalston, and Miss Brittany Hubbards survived. Miss J. Lanique Tyandra Chapman, age 24, of 1109 Oglethorpe Avenue, Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Jade Lanique Tadriana Chapman, age 24, will be held Tuesday, April 13 at 1 p.m. at the Union Tabernacle Baptist Church Portico in Americus, Georgia. The Reverend Larry B. Sims, pastor, will officiate. The eulogy will be delivered by her beloved uncle, the Reverend Michael Chapman, pastor of the Rock Church. Mr. David Lee Woodson, age 56, of 410 East Woodard Street, Diana, Georgia, died Friday, April 9th at the Cordial Health and Rehabilitation Center in Cordial, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Miss Lakedra S. Bullard and her husband, Mr. James Bullard of Perry, Georgia, Miss Lakeisha S. Woodson of Vienna, Georgia, and Mr. Broderick K. Clark of Cordial, Georgia. 9 beloved grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, his loving and devoted sisters, Mrs. Betty McClendon and her husband, Mr. Roy McClendon, and Miss Darlene Buckholz, both of Vienna, Georgia. Mrs. Barbara Wallace and her husband, Mr. Eddie Wallace of Kathleen, Texas. Miss Tammy Redding and Miss Kalish West, both of Vienna, Georgia. And Minister Shaka West White of Warner-Robin, Georgia. His beloved and devoted brothers, Deacon Robert L. Woodson and his wife, Mrs. May Woodson of Vienna, Georgia. Mr. Bobby L. Woodson and his wife, Mrs. Mary Woodson of Cordial, Georgia. And Mr. Lorenzo Woodson of Vienna, Georgia. His beloved aunts and uncle, Mr. Joshua Woodson and his wife, Mrs. Mary Woodson, and Miss Shirley Woodson, all of Vienna, Georgia. Mrs. Bertha Woodson of Pinehurst, Georgia. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. David Lee Woodson, age 56, of 410 East Woodard Street, Vienna, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. David Lee Woodson, age 56, will be held Saturday, April 17th at 11 a.m. graveside at the Vienna City Cemetery in Vienna, Georgia, with the minister selected officiating. Elder Annie Lizzie Mike Dean, age 68, of 100 Bozeman Circle, Americus, Georgia, died Friday, April 9th at the Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted sons, Mr. Little Eddie Dean Jr., and Mr. Thomas Dean and his wife, Mrs. Tasha Dean of Americus, Georgia. Her beloved grandchildren, Mr. Travis Toots and his wife, Mrs. Clara Toots, Mr. Shaky Dean, Mrs. Lakira Dean of Louisville, Kentucky, Mr. Donovan Dean of Toms River, New Jersey, a beloved great-grandson, Mr. Kingston Dean of Americus, Georgia, one beloved brother, Mr. Mike Arthur Mike Jr. of Americus, Georgia, four beloved and devoted sisters, Miss Betty Porter of Fayetteville, North Carolina, Minister Pauline Tyson and Mrs. Juanita Smith of Americus, Georgia, and Miss Etna Hill and her husband, Mr. Terry Hill, of Warner Robins, Georgia. A devoted great-nephew, Mr. D'Angelo Tatum of Americus, Georgia. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Elder Annie Lizzie Mike Dean, age 68, of 100 Bozeman Circle, Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Elder Annie Lizzie Mike Dean, age 68, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangement. Mother Mary Elizabeth Matthews Scott, age 86, of 14945 Highway 233 North, Abbeville, Georgia, died Saturday, April 10th at the Cordial Health and Rehabilitation Center in Cordial, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted children, Mr. Core Blackshear Jr. of Pitts, Georgia, Mr. Jerry Blackshear and his wife, Mrs. Rosa Blackshear of Abbeville, Georgia, Mr. Johnny James Scott and his wife, Mrs. Racine Scott of Rochelle, Georgia, Mr. Randolph Scott of Abbeville, Georgia, and Miss Carolyn Scott Williams of Cordial, Georgia. A host of loving and devoted grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. One beloved sister, Mrs. Jimmy Nell Smith, and her husband, Deacon Joe Lewis Smith of Cordial, Georgia. Her brother-in-law, Mr. Willie J. Yancey of Trenton, New Jersey. A host of nieces and nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mother Mary Elizabeth Matthews Scott, age 86, of 14945 North Highway 233, Abbeville, Georgia. The funeral service for Mother Mary Elizabeth Matthews Scott, age 86, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangement. Mr. LaRodrick Keontae Dalster, age 35, of 209 West 24th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, April 10th, at his residence in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted mother, Miss Jennifer Dalster of Cordele, Georgia, his beloved grandmother, Miss Vernell Dalster of Cordele, Georgia, his beloved brother, Mr. Fabian Dalster, and his wife, Miss Kendra Dalster of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. Horace Lawson Jr. of California, Mr. Brandon Gray, and Mr. Sean Jones, both of Atlanta, Georgia, his loving aunts and uncles, Mrs. Velma Duncans and her husband, the Reverend R.L. Duncan, Mrs. Kathy Youngblood and her husband, Mr. Calvin Youngblood, Mrs. Beverly Denard and her husband, Mr. Don Denard, Mrs. Murtis Lewis, Mrs. Debbie Woods and her husband, Mr. James Wood, Miss Lenora Green, Mother Mary B. Dalster, Mrs. Lena May Howard, Mrs. Frankie Dalster, Mrs. Gradine Ford and her husband, Deacon Tommy Ford Jr., Deacon Winfred Green and his wife, Mrs. Brenda Green, Mr. Carl Harvey, Miss Rena Harvey, Mr. Oscar Green Jr., his wife, Mrs. Mary Green, Miss Patricia Green, Miss Julia McDaniels, Miss Mary Fletcher, Mrs. Deborah West and her husband, Mr. Ronnie West, Mr. Charles Dalster, his wife, Mrs. Joanne Dalster, a host of cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. LaRodrick Keontae Dalster, age 35, of 209 West 24th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. LaRodrick Keontae Dalster, age 35, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Friends, that conclude our funeral notices for this morning. And as always, we do remind you concerning our pre-funeral arrangements planning available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home, with packages available with a single pay, a 3-year pay, a 5-year pay, and a 10-year pay. So please stop by and talk with us concerning your pre-funeral arrangements needs available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. And also whole life insurance is available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home.
And now for our announcements. You're invited to worship with the New Poplar Spring Baptist Church today. Sunday morning worship service begins at 9:45 a.m. Wednesday evening worship service at 6:45 p.m. The call-in number is 253-993-3761. Again, that number is 253-993-3761. Pastor Johnny Dean and the members of New Poplar Springs welcome you to join them each Sunday morning. The Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church announces its conference calls for Sunday as follows: Sunday morning worship service at 9 o'clock a.m., Tuesday midday prayer conference at 12 o'clock noon, Thursday prayer meeting and Bible study is held at 6 o'clock p.m. The call-in number for the conference call is 229-329-7611. And in honor of the Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church 117th church anniversary and the 30th anniversary of its pastor, Dr. Kenneth M. Williams, a one-night revival will be held on Thursday, April 15th at 6 o'clock p.m. on the grounds of the Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church. Reverend Ananias Hopkins III, pastor of the St. Mary Baptist Church in Baconton, Georgia, will be the guest evangelist. The anniversary will climax on Sunday, April 18th at 9 o'clock a.m. on the grounds of the Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church, where Reverend Christopher Williams, pastor of the Antioch Baptist Church in Cuthbert, Georgia, will be the evangelist. You have a very cordial invitation to share with the members of the Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church during this momentous occasion. Mother Lucille Shays is the church mother. Deacon Arthur L. Parker is the chairman of deacons. Dr. Kenneth M. Williams is the pastor. You're cordially invited to pull up and praise with Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church each Sunday beginning at 10 o'clock a.m. Remember, they are located at 1818 U.S. Highway 41 North in Cordele. Reverend Gregory Williams and the members welcome you to worship with them. The Mount Zion First African Baptist Church announces its conference call schedule: Sunday morning worship service at 10 o'clock a.m. Prayer meeting is held at 12 o'clock noon. On Bible study is held at 5 o'clock p.m. The conference calling number is 1-515-604-9765. The access code is 288180. Deacon Joe Wedges is the chairman of deacons. Dr. Dan James III is the pastor. You're invited to worship at the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, Church Without Walls. Worship services held each Sunday beginning at 10:30 a.m. Everyone has a cordial invitation to worship on the grounds of Mount Calvary. Mother Evelyn Lewis is the church mother. Deacon Leon Spears, chairman of deacons. Reverend Isaac H. Owens is the pastor. The Gethsemane Baptist Church extends you a very cordial invitation to worship with them in their outdoor worship service on the grounds of the Gethsemane Baptist Church, which will be held today, beginning at 10:30 a.m. Everyone is asked to wear masks and to practice social distancing. Brother Cecil Strawler and the members of Gethsemane welcome you to worship with them. The Cordele-Crisp County chapter of the NAACP meeting will be held this afternoon at 4 o'clock p.m. at Blackshear Place, located at 1001 Blackshear Road in Cordele. We're reminded that our annual membership is $30, and members are encouraged to come, and we welcome new members to come. Dr. Ruby Jackson is the branch secretary. Reverend Isaac H. Owens is the president. The Crisp County School Nutrition Program reminds you of the meal package pickup that is still in effect. The Tuesday route, 9 o'clock to 9:45 a.m., is Emmanuel Baptist Church, located at 509 3rd Street North in Cordele. From 10 until 10:45, Straight Life Church, located at 317 East 22nd Avenue. From 11 to 11:45, the Housing Authority Sunset Homes, located at 503 West 22nd Avenue. And from 12 to 12:45 p.m., Rosewood Estates, located at 57 Rosewood Circle. The Wednesday route is from 9 to 9:45, Zion Hill Church, located at 678 Twin Pines Road. Blackshear Place Business and Event Center, 1015 Blackshear Road, Cordele, Georgia. From 10 until 10:45 a.m., the Pena Church, located at 3738 Old Pena Road, and the Housing Authority Sunrise Homes Morningside Housing, located at 610 North 2nd Street. From 11 to 1145, Araby Bedgood Road, Highway 41 in Araby, and also the First Baptist Church Child Development Center, located at 205 East 13th Avenue. From 12 until 1245, the old Crisp County Middle School lunchroom parking lot, 1116 East 24th Avenue. The Thursday route is from 9 until 9:45 a.m. at Salt Lick, located on Georgia Highway 300. From 10 to 10:45, the Thrive Church, located at 191 Ingram Boulevard. From 11 to 11:45 a.m., the Housing Authority, located at the C.C. Shearer Homes, 1111 McClendon Court. From 12 until 12:45, the Clara Scott Housing Projects, located at 213 North 13th Street. If you have any questions regarding any of these times or locations, you may contact the Crisp County School Nutrition Program, Ms. Lisa Leggett, Director, by calling 276-3400. All Georgians 16 and older are eligible for the COVID-19 vaccination. Please make it your plans to get vaccinated, that you might have an opportunity to do this. We remind you again of the locations: Walgreens Pharmacy in Cordele, Crisp County Health Department, the Crisp Regional Health Services, Adams Drug Store, Harvey's Pharmacy, Walmart Pharmacy Cordele, Dooley County Health Department, Turner County Health Department, Walgreens Pharmacy, Wilcox County Health Department, Unadilla Drug Company, Walmart Pharmacy in Americas, Sumter County Health Department. And I'm sure there are many more, but we ask that as you plan to take your vaccination, that you will call the location that you're planning to go to find out what their procedures are to get your shot. But please take the opportunity to take advantage of this, and we encourage each of us to do that. A very special announcement concerning the FEMA funeral assistance for COVID-19 related deaths. This information under the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021 and the American Rescue Plan, Congress authorized FEMA to provide financial assistance to individuals who incurred COVID-19 related funeral expenses after January 20th, 2020. FEMA has issued its final policy, which includes details for the eligibility, documentation requirement, and application process. FEMA will begin accepting applications for funeral assistance on Monday, April 12th. Monday, April 12th, FEMA will begin accepting applications for funeral assistance through their dedicated call center. The COVID-19 funeral assistance line number is 844-684-6333. The toll-free number is 800-467-7585. Those numbers are listed on your screen. Remember that the hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Gather funeral expense documents, the official death certificate with the COVID-19 listed, confirming death occurred in the United States or the United States territory, proof of funds received from other sources if applicable. And FEMA again will begin accepting applications on Monday, April 12th, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow, April 12th, FEMA will begin accepting applications, and you may call the number listed, 844-684-6333. The toll-free number is 800-462-7585. The Free Providence Baptist Church, located at 706 Old Cordele Road in Vienna, will begin having drive-up worship service today. Service will begin at 11 o'clock a.m. and they will continue each second and fourth Sunday. Reverend Choice Cobb Sr. is the pastor. Deacon Eric Lundy is the chairman of deacons. Also, the Dooley County School System, in partnership with the Dooley County Family Connection, invites everyone to attend the Night of Love and Light, Saturday, April 17th at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Dooley County High School football field. A night to remember those we lost due to COVID-19. honor those who fought it, and celebrate our essential workers. There will be a program, testimonies, fellowship, music, and a candle lighting ceremony. The Dooley County Democratic Committee will have an election and meeting on Wednesday, April 14th at 6:00 p.m. at the Economic Development Training Center located at 402 Hawkinsville Road in Vienna, Georgia. All interested in becoming a member are asked to attend. Mask is required and social distancing will be followed. For more information, please call 478-302-6880. That concludes our announcements for today.
And to all families that were served by the J.W. Williams Funeral Home during this COVID situation, you have received a package from us that gives you all of the information that needed to file for the benefits up under the FEMA guidelines. You've already received a package in the mail with all of the necessary documents pertaining to your loved one's services. And if you have questions, please give us a call at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. And now for dedication. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: in loving memory of Mr. Byron Neil Westbrook, who departed this life April 10th, 2016. Dedication requested by his beloved mother, Mrs. Martha Ruth Westbrook, and the entire family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Ms. Rose Baldwin, who departed this life April 11, 1997, dedication requested by her beloved children, Miss Shirley Ray and Miss Bernice Laster, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Maddie B. Clark, who would have celebrated her birthday April 12, dedication requested by the Clark, Ray, Davis, and Patrick family. Precious memory lingers still. Our first selection this morning goes out to the following. Happy 22nd anniversary to Bishop George and Minister Trenda Westbrook, who celebrated their anniversary Friday, April 9th. Dedication requested by their children, grandchildren, Mother Martha Ruth Westbrook, and Miss Mary Jackson, and the entire Westbrook and Jackson family. God bless your union, Bishop, and keep it strong. Happy 62nd anniversary to our friend and brother, Deacon Sammy Lee and Sister Fannie Mae Mumphrey, who are celebrating their anniversary today, April 11th. Dedication requested by their children, grandchildren, and the entire Mumphrey family. God bless your union and keep it strong. Happy 4th anniversary to our brother and friend, Deacon William and Sister Robin Durham, who celebrated their anniversary April 8th. Dedication requested by their children, grandchildren, and the entire family. God continue to bless your union and keep it strong. Our first selection this morning goes out to the following. Happy birthday to Mother Martha Ruth Westbrook of Araby, Georgia, who celebrated her birthday on April 8th. God bless you, and many, many more. Happy birthday to our very own Mr. Walter Mobley Jr., who celebrated his birthday Friday, April 9th. Dedication requested by the Mobley family and the staff of the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. And happy birthday to Elder Helen Westbrook Dunlap, who celebrated her birthday Friday, April 9th. Dedication requested by her husband, Mr. Melton Dunlap, her children, grandchildren, her beloved mother, Mother Martha Ruth Westbrook of Araby, Georgia, and the entire Dunlap, Clark, and Westbrook family. Happy birthday to Miss Carisha Fletcher Williams, who will celebrate her birthday April 13th. Dedication requested by her husband, Deacon Michael Westbrook, her 3 sons, her beloved mother, Mother Minnie Fletcher, and the entire family. Happy birthday to Deacon Dennis Harris, who is celebrating his birthday on April 12th. And happy birthday to Miss Teresa Kendrick Williams, who's celebrating her birthday April 13th. Our first election this morning goes out to the following: Deacon James Smith and family, my neighbor Mrs. Theron Jones and family, the entire Jones and Tarbert family, Mrs. Dorothy Tarbert and family, Mr. Johnny Tarbert and Mrs. Juanita Tarbert and family, Mrs. Esther Byram and family, Mrs. Willie Mae Leary and family of Hatley, Georgia, Mrs. Lucille Hillman and the entire Hillman family of Ashburn and Turner County, Overseer Annie and Elder Leroy Reynolds of Vienna, Georgia, Mr. and Mrs. Willie B. Barnes and family, the family of the late Pastor Kathy Griffin, Mr. Robert J. Griffin, Mr. Jimmy J. Griffin, Mother Julia Mae Turner, Ms. Eula Little, Mrs. Elizabeth Harris, and the entire family. Ms. Janie Winters and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Tommy Law and family, Deacon David Crosby and family, Mr. Calvin Lester and family, Mrs. Betty Jean James and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Layfield Buckholtz and family of Unadilla, Georgia, Ms. Geneva West and family, Mr. Walter Kingdom and family, Mrs. Eddie Cobb and family, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Lester and family, Mrs. Ethel Lee Jones and family, Vienna, Georgia, Mrs. Angela Travis and family, Ms. Mary Gary and family, Mother Ida B. Waters and family, Mrs. Rosa Mae Caldwell and family, Ms. Christine Barron and family, Mrs. Selma Leggett and family, Ms. Daisy Wiggin and family, Mrs. Linda Leggett and family, Mr. John Johnson and family, Mrs. Alberta Feld and family, Ms. Cecilia Williams and family, Mrs. Leanna Wade and family, Mr. and Mrs. Dennis Everett and family, Mrs. Eleanor Gay and family, Ms. Mary Bryan and family, Mrs. Isel Ross and family, Mrs. Sam Gaston and family, Mr. William Gaston and family, Mrs. Rosa Mae McKenzie and family, the Hunt and Collier family, the Mr. Lester Kennedy and family, Ms. Donna Howard and family, Ms. Jenny Smith and family, Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy Redding and family, Deacon and Mrs. Benny Howard and family, Mr. and Mrs. Willie C. Washington and family, the Adams family, Miss Lily Tukes and family, Miss Carolyn Shaw and family, Mr. Bobby Lee Royal and family, Mr. and Mrs. John Hoggrove and family, Mr. Son Marshall and family, Deacon and Mrs. Leroy James and family, Ms. Deacon Elmo James and family, Miss Alice West and family, Miss Mary Sutton and family, Deacon and Mrs. Lewis Maynard and family, Deacon Lonnie Anderson and family, Mrs. Evelyn Smith family, Ms. Rosa Howard and family. It is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcements. Mr. Rodney Anderson, age 53, of 1600 Poplar Springs Road, Byronville, Georgia, died Sunday, April 4th at Navison Health in Macon, Georgia. The public walk-up viewing visitation for Mr. Rodney Anderson, age 53, will be held today, Sunday, April 11th, from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. Miss J. Lanique Tadriana Chapman, age 24, of 1109 Oglethorpe Avenue, Americus, Georgia, died Monday, April 5th at her residence. The funeral service for Miss J. Lanique Tadriana Chapman, age 24, will be held Tuesday, April 13th at 1 p.m. at the Union Tabernacle Baptist Church Portico in Americus, Georgia. The pastor, Reverend Larry B. Sims, will officiate. The eulogy will be delivered by her beloved uncle, the Reverend Michael G. Chapman. Mr. David Lee Woodson, age 56, of 410 East Woodard Street, Vienna, Georgia, died Friday, April 9th at the Cordial Health and Rehabilitation Center. The funeral service for Mr. David Lee Woodson, age 56, will be held Saturday, April 17th at 11 a.m., graveside at the Vienna City Cemetery in Vienna, Georgia, with the minister selected officiating. Elder Annie Lizzie Mike Dean, age 68, of 100 Bozeman Circle, Americus, Georgia, died Friday, April 9th at the Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Elder Annie Lizzie Mike Dean, age 68, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. Mother Mary Elizabeth Matthew Scott, age 86, of 14945 North Highway 233, Abbeville, Georgia, died Saturday, April 10th at the Cordial Health and Rehabilitation Center in Cordial, Georgia. The funeral service for Mother Mary Elizabeth Matthew Scott, age 86, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. Mr. LaRodrick Keontae Dalster, age 35, of 209 West 24th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, April 10th at his residence in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. LaRodrick Keontae Dalster, age 35, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Our selection this morning is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones were laid to rest during the past week. The family of Deacon Willie James Colson of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mrs. Johnny Mae Oliver Williams of Byronville, Georgia. The family of Mr. Henry Reed of Tifton, Georgia. This election is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones will be laid to rest during this week. The family of Mr. Rodney Anderson of Byronville, Georgia. The family of Ms. J. Lanique Tadriana Chapman of Americus, Georgia. The family of Mr. David Lee Woodson of Vienna, Georgia. The family of Elder Annie Lizzie Mike Dean of Americus, Georgia. The family of Mother Mary Elizabeth Matthew Scott of Abbeville, Georgia. The family of Mr. LaRodrick Keontae Dalster of Cordele, Georgia. This selection is dedicated to all of the sick and shut-in, to all patients in the local and surrounding hospitals, nursing homes, and rehabilitation centers, to our beloved ministers and their devoted family members, to all retired educators, to the men and women serving in our armed forces, both stateside and abroad, to all veterans, and to everyone who listens to our program on each Sunday morning. It's a pleasure for us to bring it to you. Our program goes out in memory of our past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams, goes out to my wife, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker. This selection goes out to my son, Jai Wilkerson Parker, to my mother-in-law, Mrs. Billy Ann Hall, and family, to my brother, retired Chief Master Sergeant Norman F. Dexter, and his wife, Dr. Gwendolyn Maxine Dexter, and family of Vienna, Georgia, and to Nolan. This selection goes out to my sister, Ms. Maddie Mae Johnson, better known as Sister Girl, and Mrs. Patsy Jackson and her husband, Mr. Jim Jackson of Cordele, Georgia. This selection goes out to my nephew, Deacon Kenneth Smith, Program Chairman of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. Goes out to our pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams, pastor of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. And again, invite you to worship this morning via a conference call Facebook Live, or we will be on the grounds at 9 a.m. at the Greater Morris Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. On the grounds this morning with the mother of the church, Mother Lucille Shazer, age 108. Yes, this morning on the grounds of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church, be it the Lord's will. And also invite you again to worship in the celebration, 117th year of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church anniversary, and the 30th year of the pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams. Again, with an anniversary celebration on Thursday at 6 p.m. of this coming week, Thursday at 6 p.m., and that will be celebrating on the grounds of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church. And certainly you're invited to worship. Our program this morning goes out to my cousin, Deacon Emery Wright, and family of Albany and Lee County, Georgia. This selection goes out to Miss Willie Mae Craft and family, to our beloved Miss Easter May Sanders and family. This selection goes out again to each and every one who listens to our program on each Sunday morning, to Mrs. Cheryl Henry and family of Americus, Georgia, and then to each of you this morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Tune in again on next Sunday morning. In your time of need, contact the competent, capable, and dependable staff at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home.
Some of these days.